So for people who might not be and might not have been following along this whole time, my understanding that that people were telling me is that you've been working on this. You've been considering making changes to the way deflection works. Why have you been looking at those changes, and kind of what are the things you've been considering?
Yeah. So we've had the deflection program for a little bit over a year now. And after seeing kind of what happened this past year, it was time for some changes. We were seeing plenty of people going into the program, about a little over 600 people, but we weren't seeing really results. We weren't seeing people meaningfully connected to treatment. And so all I'm doing is I'm staying true to what I've always said, which is I want there to be accountability. It can be compassionate, but we need to have people actually engaging in the program. And so the only real changes I'm saying now is you can't just touch the door and leave. You can't just go in, get a quick assessment, and that's the end. We want people to actually engage in treatment. And so from now on, they'll have 90 days to show that they've actually taken some meaningful steps towards getting into treatment, making some steps to change their life. It's not about demanding complete sobriety or saying that they have to completely change everything overnight. It's just about meaningfully engaging in treatment.
Absolutely. I'm just going to adjust a little bit more here. And so that kind of brings us forward to today, obviously. Talk to me a bit about, so specifically, what has changed today? What is the update? Is there something like specific that you've decided on today or enacting today?
So the change is very simple. After we saw the results for a year, I provided some time and I told various community partners that from here on out, if individuals either touch the door and leave or fail to engage in treatment, then my office will prosecute them. It's just the next step along their journey. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to go to jail. It just means that we're going to take a more directed kind of effort to make sure that they're supervised, to make sure that they're give them more support on their journey to getting to sobriety.
Gotcha. So it's not anything like it's like anything. I don't want to say official. Official is the wrong word. I guess it's not like you're enacting anything, but you're just saying, hey, look, we're paying attention. This is what we expect, and if that's not happening, if you're not helping people in the way that we expect, you're going to step in.
Yeah. This will actually bring Multnomah County in line with what's happening really around the state of Oregon. And what it will do is just help make sure that those individuals that aren't engaging in treatment, they'll get to the next step. And that next step, they still have opportunities to have what's called conditional discharge. So in other words, if they engage in treatment, even after we've filed charges, those charges are still going to be dropped. This is all about supporting people and getting them into treatment. It's just saying that we're no longer going to stand for the touch and go or for people that just simply aren't doing anything. We want to see that when someone's arrested, that we're seeing real steps towards treatment.
Yeah, and so, because that's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, do you feel like this is kind of bringing things, obviously more in line, you said, with like county and state, but also just more in line with just the spirit of what deflection was supposed to be all about?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a piece of deflection, which is, hey, we want to avoid the criminal justice system. But the other side of that is, and we want to see people get into treatment. And so when someone takes no efforts to do that, then we need to go to the next level. So this is just staying right in line with what the expectations and demands are that have been put in place by our state legislature.
Okay. I should probably ask, is this because you feel like we were seeing too many examples of that where, deflection was only going up to a point and just stopping?
Yeah, I mean, this certainly is a result of looking at the numbers from last year and seeing just little to no results where people were actually engaged in treatment. Of the approximately 600 people, really you maybe were able to count the people on one hand that actually were involved in treatment. And so we were also seeing a third of people touching the door and leaving, and that's just not acceptable. We really need to make sure that we are being compassionate but also holding people accountable.
And do you think it'd be helpful to explain what happened before, in that there's no police reports, there's no evidence collection, there's no nothing?
Well, yeah, I mean, so what was happening before is that essentially when a person was dropped off at the deflection center, that was the end. And whether that person did great or did nothing, it really didn't change one way or the other. And so what this says is we just have some reasonable expectations now that people need to actually make some efforts, engage.
Absolutely. I don't know if there was anything else that you felt.
Just one other thing I think is important. When he says engage, he means like, multiple things over 90 days. It's not just like you have 90 days to do one thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Talking about what is that 90 days? What does engagement mean for you?
So in that period of 90 days, what we're hoping for are that people are going to take some real steps. That could be certainly going to meetings, enrolling in a treatment program. It could be going to detox. I always believe that there are just a lot of different pathways to an individual's sobriety or to moving their life forward. And so it's not prescribing, this one way. It certainly says there are lots of different pathways for people, but they need to actually make some efforts and do some meaningful engagement in treatment. And that is going to be, we're going to be flexible in looking at that, but certainly have some expectations.
Absolutely.